The PlayStation 5 is hugely successful. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 can't meet demands, but it doesn't mean that it's been unsuccessful or that people aren't going to continue to buy it in droves. Obviously, Sony is onto something in this whole console wars thing, console sales thing. They honestly do such a fantastic job of appealing to gamers every single generation, and there's a reason why they continue to lead generation to generation, with the slight exception of when the Wii was able to kind of take it out in the illustrious 2007 to 2011 kind of era. They really did a good job with it. Now we get an idea of how many PlayStation 5s have shipped. They've shipped 19.3 million PlayStation 5s, although they did miss their initial second year target by over 3 million units. The company had worked hard to kind of get to where they were, and they had warned that supply chain issues would make reaching its target difficult. At 11.5 million PlayStation 5 consoles shipped during the fiscal year of 21, it means that Sony missed its initial target of 14.8 million consoles by over 3 million units. Sony had targeted shipping more PS5s during the console's second fiscal year than the 14.8 million the PS4 managed during the same period. However, it had warned last year that supply chain issues would make this difficult. However, the company said on Tuesday that it expects to sell significantly more PlayStation 5s during its current fiscal year ending March of 2023 at around 18 million units. Sony said it felt very comfortable that it could achieve the target. Meanwhile, just 100,000 PlayStation 4 units were shipped to retailers during the 3 months ending March 31st, bringing total shipments to around 117 million. The company also revealed that as of the end of March 2022, 47.4 million users were subscribed to PlayStation Plus, down slightly from 47.6 million during the same period of the previous fiscal year. Monthly active users were also down at 106 million compared to 109 in fiscal year 20. Well, this could be attributed to pandemic ending and more people kind of being able to go back to their normal lives. The pandemic, we saw all kinds of people kind of just be able to game and get into gaming, and there probably will be a good amount of those people that stick around for the long term when it comes to video games and things like that. But it is just nice to see that Sony and Microsoft are able to kind of expand their audiences thanks to such a horrific thing like the pandemic. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be seeing some drops. That's going to be for sure. Like, we're going to see these across the board. We see it in pretty much every subscription service that there is. There's been some kind of negative drop and some kind of negative influence and reaction after the the pandemic kind of ended or whatever. So it was such an interesting thing to say the least. But PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 first-party game sales were up a massive 84% during quarter 4, jumping from 7.9 million last year to 14.5 million in fiscal year 21. The ratio of downloaded software actually fell slightly, 79% to 71%, but it was up 1% overall for the whole year. Sales were up 3% for the year, which Sony credits partly to the impact of foreign exchange rates and the increase in hardware sales. Operating income was essentially flat, however, which the company partly attributed to decreases in losses from the PlayStation 5 price point compared to manufacturing costs. Looking forward, Sony actually said they expect sales for its games and network business to increase significantly, 34% during its current fiscal year, in fiscal year 2022, thanks to an increase in hardware sales and third-party games. Operating income is forecast to decrease, however, due to increased costs in game development and its existing studios, as well as costs associated with the acquisition of Bungie. So they're planning on having that go through as well, and it looks like we're definitely into sort of a different situation for Sony as well as Microsoft when it comes to these type of things. I think Sony is making a lot of headway where things are concerned, and we continue to see them do positive things, which can't be underlooked or overlooked in my opinion. So I love what we're seeing from Sony. It's good that they're picking up sales and things like that. 19.3 is a huge number. And of course, there was the instance where Sony had kind of pretty much said that they weren't going to be able to match what they wanted to do, but they also were able to kind of comment and say, hey, we're going to be able to ship more next quarter or whatever. So I do think that there is going to be an interesting situation going forward. But I do think that that they've confirmed that they're going to be shipping 56% more PS5s this year. They're claiming that the demand is higher than ever. The company announced Tuesday, like I said, that they've shipped the 11.5 million for the fiscal year, missing their initial targets. However, the company said it expects to sell significantly more PS5s, and they're going to ship around the 18 million. The company said that they're very comfortable that it could achieve the target, commenting further that during their financial webcast, CFO Hikori Totoki suggested that the company was being conservative with its projected hardware sales number because it felt that it could safely produce within current conditions. 18 million units is what we feel very comfortable with. So, that's looking up all around. That's way more than what I think many people expected. And they're obviously having, a much easier time with some supply in like UK and things like that right now. Matt Priscatella actually said would obviously be a significant help to the US games market, which was down in calendar Q1. Associated impact to content and accessory sales would also be a huge benefit. Been rough sledding lately, so fingers crossed that they can actually do it. We can feel that there's a little bit higher demand than that, so if the question is if we can meet the demand, I think we'll still short somewhat. Regarding our stock and inventory, it still remains very low, so in order to provide our PlayStation unit to customers in a timely basis, we're still behind or short. We were originally talking about 22.6 million by this point. This was reduced because of the constraints of components. When it comes to the procurement of the components, we have not given up on this. We would like to continue to work on this. At this point, we can safely say that we can achieve the necessary components for 18 million units. So the PlayStation 5 remains an extremely sought after item, with the rare restocks of the console selling out quickly, while the reselling market for the item has come down, especially in comparison to 2021. Many people are still paying over retail value for the system. Sony had targeted shipping more PS5s during the console's second fiscal year than the 14.8 PS4 managed. However, they warned obviously that it wasn't going to be able to do that. So it is still behind technically what the PlayStation 4 was doing, but it is doing much better than than I think a lot of people would have suggested. And you also have Nintendo kind of into the mix, and I know I don't usually cover Nintendo, but Nintendo said that they don't see an end to the stock shortage or the chip shortage anytime soon. So, it's hard to really tell who to believe, because it does look like Sony was specifically holding back some, and then it also looks like Microsoft maybe paid for some chip priority. So it's going to be strange to see the next year and how it plays out, and then what happens in the future. Like, people are talking about possible mid-gen upgrades and things like that, but how can that be if like, it doesn't matter if you have a mid-gen upgrade if if you can't even get your regular console out there. So I think we're definitely seeing sort of a different situation, and it's really going to just depend on what gamers are going to be able to kind of get out of the whole situation, and what Microsoft and Sony are going to be able to kind of ship. And even Nintendo, like the Switch, is having problems, and man, that the chips for that don't seem like they should be hard to come by at all. But what do I know? It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on this. I'm going to link all this information down below. Check it out. If you do watch the video, please leave a like. It helps the video to be seen and channel to grow. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.